Well, the stage is set for the national championship in men's college basketball. The Wolfpack magic is over.
Yep,
Bama is defeated by a buzzsaw.
yep.
And maybe do we have a little bit of some issues with the MLB? We're talking about that today. Heads Up Play episode 31. John Rivers Knicks, Mr. Cowboy, how was your weekend so
It
far?
was
How
pretty
was
good.
your week in general? It's been a
It
minute since we had
it
an episode.
it's been pretty good, man. I've been looking forward to the Bama game all week. I had Braves tickets actually for last night's game. I did not end up going because I wanted to watch the Bama game. I've been to a Braves game. We both have when we watched another of our sports team crucial game go on. It was tough, but it was a good week. It was a good week. What about you?
Good week for me, overall, solid. I'm right there with you. I don't blame you whatsoever, not going to that Braves game. Look, y here's the thing about baseball is there's 162 baseball games in the year. Um, a season opening weekend doesn't really match up to a
No,
Final Four game, so,
no,
um,
yeah.
I don't blame you whatsoever. But speaking of, um, we had both Final Four games on Saturday. Glendale, Arizona, big in the Cardinals Stadium, State Farm Stadium. I want to get your thoughts real quick. I know a lot of people don't like the Final Four games being played in those massive NFL stadiums, but I like it. I like the huge crowds. I mean, even the NBA Finals doesn't do anything like that. I mean, it's the biggest stage in basketball. What
It
what are your
it
thoughts?
I like it and I don't like it. I saw tweets yesterday. It was the funniest thing ever. Like, "Come on, ref, that was a foul," as they're sitting, like, in the nosebleeds, I don't know. I feel like you can't I like it from a on the couch view, but if I would personally I would love to go to a Final Four, but unless you're paying $2,000 to sit almost courts or almost courtside, I guess is what you call it, just in
Mhm.
viewing range of the ball, you're going to be sitting in the nosebleeds if you're trying to not spend a whole month's salary almost.
Yeah, I looked at tickets because I'm off of work for a while now, and tickets, I mean, they weren't going for bad. I mean, some were going for
Yeah,
like
tickets.
$500, $400 for the whole, all three games, including the national championship. Um, Only airfare was like $800 to get there. That was at that point I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Um, and it would have been by myself, so that would have been a little awkward. But yeah, so started off the day, NC State and Purdue, 11 seed NC State, DJ Burns up against Zach Edey was a
America's
matchup a lot of
hero,
people
America's
wanted.
hero.
And man, this was a low scoring game, especially in the first half. NC State just really couldn't get anything going on offense. The battle kind of lived up to the hype between DJ Burns and Zach Edey to a degree. But what are your thoughts about this game?
DJ Burns, he wasn't gonna let Zach Edey do whatever he wanted, like Zach Edey thought
Yeah.
he's been able to do the last couple of games. I was very impressed with DJ Burns. He's not a bad basketball player, but I mean, he held Zach Edey to 20 points, which is low
Oh
for
yeah.
Zach Edey. He's been on a tear lately. Only 20 points and I mean rebounds, 12 rebounds. I mean, I know 12 rebounds is still a good amount of a rebound, but for a 7'4" guy, that's nothing. Give me a. I think Burns did very well that game. He didn't do nothing really offensive wise. His whole and in my opinion, that's when they don't win is when he don't get involved in the offense.
I would have to agree with you there. And I mean, for NC State, look, it was a good run. Kevin Keats, I mean, brought them to the Final Four for the first time since I think it was what 1982 or three since Jim Valvano had brought them there and won
Yeah.
the national championship. So I mean, if you're a Louisville fan, you cannot complain as an 11 seed. That was a true Cinderella run.
I would say North Carolina State, like you have nothing to hang your head over. Like for you to be in the Final Four and to kind of go up against a one seed who I'm gonna be honest, who might win the national championship, you did well. Like F in the chat, you did great.
You and I might have the same mindset there on that one. We're going to get into our national championship predictions here in a minute. But yeah, so NC State does fall. The vast majority of the money was on NC State, or excuse me, on Purdue, um, as as expected. And the same goes for our game, Roll Tide, but
Roll
we do
Tide.
come up short. Alabama does fall to UConn, which was the expected score,
Or
or
yeah.
excuse me, the expected outcome.
The score does not show really how the game goes. I kinda thought it was a little tacky the last minute 3 and just kinda
Yeah, a
like
little kind of a little FU3 at the end. Um, that was a little kind of hold on. Hey, stop! Stop!
we have a little bit of, dog
Stop!
problems, guys. He just wants some
My
love.
dog doesn't respect
Authority.
my authority. Um,
No,
anyways,
the score doesn't show it. I mean, at one point, I'm trying to remember at one point what was the score. I mean, before the big blowout.
I
I
mean
mean,
it was
second,
40 to 44 at the half.
yeah, it was
But I mean, let's be real here. Look, the final score was 86 to 72. You're right. That score is a big lead. It does not show, the final. That
I
I think
mean,
that was UConn trying to get a lot of people some money there at the end because they were 11 and a half point favorites. They were not up by 11 and a half until they really got going there at the
with
very
5
end.
minutes left in the game, it was 61-69,
Yeah.
and then it just.
Yeah, so but I
But
mean, if you're
that's what
Alabama,
that UConn team does, though. They just go on these runs. I mean,
they do,
they
and
would go on
Alabama.
8-0. They would go on an 8-0 run. We'd go on an 8-0 run. They go on an 8-0 run. We go on. They just outlasted us.
Yeah, and Alabama did a good job, especially in the first half, of kind of keeping them at bay. But I'm going to be honest, the score probably would be even worse if Donovan Clingan had been in the whole game.
Yeah,
I mean, we just could not do anything in the paint with him uh, on the court. I mean, he was blocking everything. He's just so tall. I mean, he's not as tall as Zach Edey, but he's more agile. He's more athletic
athletic.
than Zach
Yeah,
Edey.
easily. Yeah.
So, I mean, and he was easily for UConn, I think, the player of the game, the difference maker at least. They made some big threes when we left them, wide open. Uh, so I mean, there's that as well. But we were shooting 70% from three. We had made 8 out of 11 threes in the
At
first
half.
half, and we were still down by 4 points. That just goes to show just how dominant of a juggernaut this UConn team is.
Well, I told you before, they have not faced a team that has not shot 30 plus threes yet. Well, we only shot 23. We couldn't get a three up. Spacing was not there.
They were they were doing a really good job of pushing us out from 3-point range in the second half. And now we still made some deep threes. I mean, Latrell Wrightsell and Mark Sears, I mean, they're really good at making some, shots from way downtown. And they did that, in the second half. But at the end of the day, you can make some, but you got to shoot a lot. I mean, we just weren't able to get many shots off, and especially once it hit about the 10-minute mark, the few threes that we were able to were able to shoot, we weren't able to make. So I mean, and at that point, it was kind of UConn's game.
No, it was, and I'm not trying to say the refs screwed us, but it wasn't alarming. Well, at one point, I thought the free throw count was off. My bad. I thought it was like really off. I didn't realize we shot 11 to their 18. I thought we shot less than. It didn't feel like we shot 11 free throws.
No, it didn't. And for a while, I mean, there was a a free throw discrepancy. Um, I mean, they that was the difference in the game in the first half. I mean, we were shooting more field goals than them. They had more free throws.
But this,
But yeah, that's it. So UConn goes on. Look, Alabama, they're the lone representative of the South and the SEC in the Final Four. If you want to consider NC State the South,
yeah,
I wouldn't have
yeah,
anything against that. But um, SEC wise, Alabama, and
yeah.
I'm the first SEC school to be in the Final Four since
Since
Auburn's run in 2019. So nothing to hang your hat on if you're Alabama. You and I never really thought we would even get to a Final Four, especially this year. So nothing at all to hang your hat
I'll
on.
say it.
I'm glad.
We definitely hung with, in my opinion, probably the best team that's been the last 2 years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we gave them their toughest game all tournament. I mean, they had been up by 30 at least on all teams that they had played all tournament long, and here we are at halftime down only 4. So, I mean,
I'm
I
telling.
think if we would have played Purdue, we would have won. and we'd be in the national championship right now, playing
Easily.
UConn where we would lose.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you though, as a Bama fan, I'm very optimistic about this next year's team. This is a team I'm looking at if Nelson returns. Just either Nelson or Sears returns. We'll be a top 5 team preseason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're
I mean, look
getting,
what they did the FAU. I mean, my god. I mean,
you know, you're right. I mean, Alabama's currently got the 17th overall recruiting class. Actually, excuse me, I'm looking at 2024. Let me look at 2023 is what I'm looking at. 2024, the fourth overall recruiting class. You're returning, you're able to return everybody except Estrada because he's a grad. And so I mean, if you can bring Latrell Wrightsell back with that 3-point ability, Grant Nelson, maybe he can have a season that we were expecting him to have this year. You bring Mark Sears back, hopefully, and then you're bringing in Darion Reed, Aiden Sherrill, who are both McDonald's All
you
Americans.
you
I
got
mean,
the
come
you got
on.
you got the kid from Pepperdine that's transferring in.
I mean, I think Alabama will be a force to be reckoned with next season, but there's two things that need to happen, I think. One, you got to get better on defense. I mean,
Of
you,
course,
you just
yeah.
can't play defense the way that we played all season long. I know it got better in the tournament, but I mean, you can't be playing with 130 something ranked defense. And two, you got to get a center. I mean, this is like seems to be the trend with college basketball teams that are going on to these championship runs is they just have massive centers who can just block the ball, and you got to get one of those 7-footer guys that can just go up and hit things away like a Klingon or an Edie or a
That's
DJ
that
Burns.
that's all you need, man. I mean, I'm looking it up right now. I wanna say there is a prime example of who we need. Let me find him. He played over there at the Pac-12 for the Stanford Cardinals. What is his name? Maxime Renaud. Renaud, he is 7 foot tall. He is from France. He shoots threes. He was the most improved player after averaging 15 points, 9.6 rebound, and shot 57% from the floor with 36 behind the three.
Sounds
That is
like a
a
perfect fit for
Nate
Nate Oates'
Oates needs to
offense.
be foaming out the mouth. Oh, hey, we got a big boy coming as well with Aiden Shell, who's
Mhm.
6'10. That's what we need. But, you know, it's a win for the season. People don't realize we lost Clowney, NBA draft pick. Miller, NBA draft pick. Javon Quinterly transferred. You lost Charles Bediago, our center, who was supposed to
At
be
the
our
last minute, at that which really
la-
kind of screwed us over to a degree.
he should have been our next Dante Hall. He should have been our next 4-year journeyman. Stayed at Bama his whole way. He left. We lost Charlie Henry to Georgia Southern. You lost Brian Hodgson to Arkansas State. You lost Antonio Petway to Kennesaw State. You lost all three of your assistants. Bam, one off season. What are you gonna do? You got Arizona in your schedule. You got Creighton in your schedule. You got Purdue back to back to back in your schedule. How are you going to bounce back from this? You know what? You go get a coach from Nicholls State, who's a head coach. You get him. You get you get the coach from the New Orleans Pelicans, former Birmingham Squadron head coach. Mind you, the Nicholls State coach, he's already got another job. We already going to have to get another assistant. He's going to UTSA. Dude from the Pelicans, he's interviewing tomorrow for the Fresno State's job.
Cut it out.
So this is going to be year 2 of replacing a staff again.
Yeah, I mean, well said. I mean, that just goes to show just how good of a coach Nate Oates is, not only from, an X's and O's perspective, but just as far as how he can build a program and run a program. I mean, I don't know if you watched it, but Dan Hurley gave his kind of press conference the day before on Friday, and they asked him about his relationship with Nate Oates, and they said that they saw him running his program in high school and he ran it like a well-developed college program. I mean, that just goes to show, how Nate Oates runs things. And he is the key. You know, you can get good players, you can get great assistant coaches, but his game plans and his plan for a program in general seems to be uh, a a good one. So, I mean, if you're an Alabama fan and you're not bought into basketball and Nate Oates, you need to be right now because good
I'm,
things are coming.
I'm telling you, we got to hold on to this guy. Give him the bank. He's our, oh my lord, Skynet's taking over right now. Skynet.
Elon's coming after.
I'm just telling you, I'm making a bold prediction right now. Nate Oates is going to be the new Nick Saban at Alabama. I promise you. And that's nothing against Kalen DeBoer. He's just the new kid on the block. Unless he can take us to the playoff, then he'll be the new Nick Saban. But right now, he's the new Nick Saban. He's taken us to a Final Four. He's won us 2 SEC championships. He is our Nick Saban right now. He is our, in my opinion, when it comes to coaches at the University of Alabama, softball, baseball, basketball, all the sports, he is our GOAT. He is our leader.
And to your point, Kalen DeBoer may end up being better. We just really don't know. We haven't
It's
seen
year
anything yet.
one. I'm not saying he's not going to be better because I think he will be the leader of the pack. But as of right now, it's Nate Oates.
Absolutely.
Kind of like how
Absolutely.
Bruce Pearl is at Auburn. Bruce Pearl is the leader. Nate Oates is the leader at Alabama right
So yeah, so that's it. The national championship Alabama season is over. NC State season is over. Never really thought we'd be seeing Alabama play a
now. No,
basketball game in
never thought
April,
I
but
would
here we
see.
are.
Never would I thought I'd see one of me or you wearing a Final Four hat. Never.
I'm gonna be wearing it for a while. But the national championship picture is now set. It will be what most people, aside from NC State fans and Alabama fans, wanted,
The
which is
media got
Purdue
what
and
they wanted. The
UConn.
media got what they
Absolutely.
wanted.
And to your point, oh my gosh. I mean, CBS was foaming at the mouth over Donovan Clingan and UConn all night long. I was like, come on.
It
I
felt
mean, the
like
bias is,
it felt like when we played UCLA in 2021, and you remember they showed, I forgot what the head coach's name is from UCLA. They kept showing his dad in the stands every 5 seconds to talk about. It felt like when we played Michigan and they kept telling this story, who's got it better than us? Nobody and nobody. It's like they get one story and they run with it. We watched a lot of Alabama basketball these last couple weeks. It's been Mark Sitters and his mom. They only showed her once this whole time.
yeah, and we've been winning the more they show her. And
They showed her that one time. That's it.
because he really didn't take that many, they only show her when
He's
he
doing free
takes free
throws.
throws, and he only shot, I think, like one or two or something like
Yeah.
that.
But
But so the national championship is set. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I I understand just how good this UConn team is. I now will be pulling for UConn to win because I mean it would just make us look that
because
much better.
I agree. I agree.
I kind of think Purdue's got this. I'm gonna be
I'm
honest.
kind of the same boat. Like I do I and it's gonna sound it don't it's not gonna make sense when do I think UConn is a better team? Yes.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
But
100%.
I just don't see them keeping up with Zach Edey.
There's that's the thing. He's just so massive. I think the battle they're gonna hype up this battle between Klingon and Edie like
Oh my
crazy.
god, it's
Um, and it's gonna be good.
oh
But
yeah.
I just think Edie himself is too good, and it's just so hard to win back-to-back national championships in college basketball. I think it's harder to win back-to-back national championships in college basketball than it is to three-peat in college football.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
so hard. I mean,
I would
this was the first time that I mean, UConn making the Final Four alone was the first time that had happened since Florida in 2006 and 7.
I would almost go to say you can win 4 national championships in a row than winning back-to-back college basketball national championships.
Look, if UConn wins, I'm gonna eat my words 100%. And I can most definitely
Yeah.
see it, but it is so
They
hard.
match
And if
up
they
so
do,
well, my
yeah.
gosh. I think
Now,
what might set UConn up, that backup center they have. He's just as tall. He's
yeah.
6'10". He can at least maybe hang with him, let clean because you just gotta wear Edie out. You just gotta wear him out. But it's gonna be
Well, and you know, let's not forget. Did you see how many Purdue fans were there?
a lot. Oh my
Look,
gosh.
UConn fans right now are probably like a lot of Alabama fans in football, a lot of Georgia fans in football. Kind of, we've been there, we've seen it. Maybe we're not gonna go spend that much money to see it. We've been there, done that. Purdue ain't been there since 1969 or whatever it was. They're showing out. This is gonna be heavy Purdue, I think,
Let me
and that might be a difference.
let me tell you why I think why I'm picking Purdue to win. This storyline. The media wants it to be they lost the year before 2 years ago to St. Pete. They lost last year to a 16 seed. This is the ultimate, mark my words, all day Monday before the game. You will hear redemption, redemption, redemption. Like
Yeah.
it's just like when Virginia played a couple of years ago when they lost after when they played Auburn, they were like, well, this is for last year, this is for last year, and then beat Auburn, and then they go in there and they beat Texas Tech. This is exactly how it's playing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be kinda like how we've had with Caitlin Clark with women's basketball, which I think we need to touch on here
We
in a
gotta
second
talk
because
on
that
that,
game
yeah. There's
just
a
ended.
couple thing, yeah.
Um, so, I mean, Caitlin Clark, I mean, she's won this Player of the Year, easily the greatest women's basketball player of all time, I think, not that I'm an expert. Zach Edey, he's won, Player of the Year
Back
2
to back,
years or
he
back to
got I'm
back.
saying he
He needs
got
a
named
national
today,
championship.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They're definitely gonna hype this up for Purdue, I think, but also for UConn to repeat. Like, there's so many, ways the media can go about this. But I'm gonna go with Purdue. I don't know about a score prediction, but I'm gonna go with Purdue solely based on the fact that it's just so hard to repeat. I don't know if that's you or me or both or whatever.
I'm gonna go with Purdue. I'm going Purdue. It's hard to repeat. I think the national media. I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I definitely think that the media wants it to be Purdue. Lost to a 16 seed, won it this year. Give me Purdue,
All right.
brother. Yes,
So
brother.
special teams, special players,
I'm being 100% honest with you. I didn't know who Stretch was until
sketch,
maybe S-
sketch.
Sketch. My bad. I didn't know who Sketch was until maybe 72 hours. Not even that. Maybe 48 hours ago.
He's blown up out of nowhere.
I don't even know what he did to be just to get famous. Jinxie.
So there all right, I'm not like into Twitch streamers like that. Maybe we'll do some Twitch streaming one day. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
stream the new college football game when it comes out. But there is like a few big like Twitch streamers, one dude named Jinxie, and I don't know what like how he's famous or whatever. I don't know. I've never watched a Twitch stream with him. I don't know, but he brings on this guy's sketch, and it is all an act from what I've seen. And he's very, what's up, brother? And he plays Madden. I think that's all he plays is Madden.
Oh,
I don't
what's
know.
up, bro? He met up yesterday with because he's always wearing that CJ Stroud Texans
Yeah.
jersey. He met up with CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and new Texan. We got also. I kind of want to talk about Stephon Diggs. I mean, this kid is just living his dream right now.
I mean, from what I've seen is Jinxie brings him on his
His stuff.
streams. Now Sketch is more popular than Jinxie.
Oh my gosh! I mean, like, I saw on ESPN that. What's up,
Yes, we're doing it
brother?
on Sports Center. I mean, half the MLB is doing it when they make a double.
I love
So,
it.
yeah, way to go, Sketch.
But let's talk about a little bit about women's basketball before we get into the national championship. Was that an illegal screen on UConn? I think
Okay.
most definitely that was a
Yes,
legal screen.
yes,
You
it was.
cannot breathe, but that is a wild call at that time of the game, in my opinion. Was it
Yes, it
illegal?
is.
Yes, that's a. I was like, ooh, I mean, like it's an illegal screen, but like, are you really going to call that right now?
It is. Can you imagine if UConn was both in the women's national championship and the
Oh
men's? Oh
man.
my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so South Carolina just defeated Iowa and Caitlin Clark. They are 38 and 0, and they win their third national championship. Um, what's South Carolina's basketball coach's name? Women's basketball coach.
Um, I know what she looks like. I literally have her
Her
in.
name is Dawn Staley. Dawn
Yep.
Staley. She might be the best women's
She
basketball
might be the
coach since
next
Pat
Pat.
Summit.
I was about to say she might be the new Pat Summit. I'm trying to find since the start of the 2021-2022 season, they are 109 and 3.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now look. Dawn Staley got a while to catch up because I mean, Pat Summitt had 8 national
I was like,
championships.
Pat
That
Summitt
that's
was
hard to
yeah.
come by.
Pat Summitt
But
was her, yeah. Pat Summitt was
but,
good.
I mean, you can't knock what she's done. I mean, 38 and 0. I mean, that's incredible. And
She in my opinion, it seems like she almost single-handedly killed the UConn dynasty.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, not like South Carolina was anything in women's basketball before. And I will say this, and I brought it up the other day to you and John. Women's basketball getting popular.
It
I
is,
mean, it's
I
popping
like
off right
watching
now.
it, especially in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you think about it. Let me ask you a question. Does the SEC own women's basketball? I mean, the last 2 years has been LSU last year, this year South Carolina.
Yeah, and I would probably say overall. I mean, outside. I mean, because you look at. I mean, how many national championships
You had, Mississippi State,
Tennessee
I
had.
was I think you had Mississippi State a couple of years ago too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know North Carolina's pretty good. UConn obviously has a lot of national championships, but yeah, I think the SEC does run women's college basketball right now. And Caitlin Clark, I mean, I was kind of hoping that she won the national championship because
Me too,
I mean that would
yeah.
have been great. I mean, she's just incredible. Now, what is this? Have you seen that she's been offered like some odd $1 million to go play in a men's league? It's not the
Yes,
NBA, but it's like
it's
the
the
league right
Big
below it.
3. It is my eyes. Have you watched the Big 3?
I've not, but it's some
Yeah,
big dudes, ain't it?
it is so it's actually pretty cool. It comes on in the middle of summer. It's Ice Cube's league, and it's the big three. It's 3-on-3. It's a bunch of retired players like Joe Johnson.
Okay.
The coaches are legendary coaches. Lisa Leslie, uh, George Gorvin, Michael Cooper, a bunch of the old Dr. J's one of the coaches, and they have like 4-point shots, 3-point shots. Like it's a pretty cool league. They play half court. So you get the rebound, you got to go back up the. It's pretty cool, and he's offered her $5 million to play in the big league 3.
I would take that in a heartbeat. Do it for 1 year, then go
Oh
play in the
yeah,
WNBA. I don't care. I mean, you're not even if you suck. I mean, do
she
it for a
needs.
year.
I like the idea I saw on Twitter. You know, last year and like this year we watched it together. Steph Curry versus what's her name? Sabrina. What's her? Sabrina. She played at Oregon,
I forgot that girl's last name, but I
but
remember it was the 3-point contest. She kept it close.
I'm about to say it need. I think they need. I kind of like that. You know, have their 3-point contest winner versus our 3-point contest winner, and it basically be Kaylee. Kaylee Clark is good. She is her. Like Kaylee Clark is good.
Yeah, I've seen some people asking like, would Caitlin Clark beat like a high school, like a state championship high school
Oh my
player?
god, she would sauce them up.
I
Oh my
know, I'm
god.
saying.
Speaking of basketball, also congratulations to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Congratulations in order. There we go. We haven't talked about it. I just got it. I just got a notification. How about Arkansas losing Eric Musselman to the USC Trojans?
Uh, didn't think that would happen. USC. Oh, look, that's a good job.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good job for USC getting him.
Yeah, yeah. But Arkansas. I mean, arguably top 3 or 4 job in the SEC. Would you not agree?
It was before this season.
Before this season, yes, but Arkansas's got some history. I mean, it's probably Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, maybe Tennessee, Florida, right below
Yeah,
that, or
yeah.
somewhere around there. They're a top tier program in the SEC for
Well,
sure.
look,
So,
Auburn's a blue blood.
I know that. We got 2019. Um,
Well, we only lost to our team by one
hey,
point.
Alabama had an easier path.
Yeah, go
Uh,
yell about it. Um,
um, but
no, that's gonna be a
it
good
seems to
job
me
opening.
nobody wants that job. Nobody wants the Arkansas job
I
now.
say because I just got the reason why it reminded me everybody's transferring out of Arkansas right now.
Yeah, they're this season was really tough, and that really did them in. I've seen some names, being thrown around
I
for the
I
Arkansas
saw
job.
Chris
I
Beard.
saw Chris Beard. I
He
saw Will
denied it.
Wade.
Chris
Yeah,
Beard, he said that he's not going to do it. He's staying in Oxford, which I'm glad because they kind of took a chance on him. I wouldn't mind Will Wade. I saw her name, and this is who I would hire. Greg McDermott, aka Creighton's head coach. Oh my God, I'd hire him in a minute.
yeah, that would be a fantastic hire.
I've seen that name. Who else
I've
have I
seen Bucky thrown around, and I think Arkansas is a little bit too big for Bucky right now. I could have seen him maybe going to Ole Miss if Beard took the job.
I've
But
seen I saw Buzz from, Texas A&M.
really, I don't
Yeah,
know if he would. I feel like the expectations are pretty low at A&M, and the money is high. So who knows?
but well, let's change sports for a little bit because there's some stuff, and this will be our last topic for the day. There's a lot of stuff going on with this sport, especially since kind of a big name went out with it just not too long ago. Tommy John surgery is becoming very popular. When you hear Tommy John, you always associate it with baseball. You don't really associate it with much other stuff. Tommy John with baseball, most pitchers have it. At some point in their life, every pitcher is going to have Tommy John surgery. You're very lucky if you don't have it.
Yeah.
But it's ramping up in baseball right now, don't you
I'm gonna
think?
go through a list. And this is some some of the names of pitchers who are currently out of the MLB. Not all are out because they need Tommy John. Some of them are Tommy John. Some of them are 10-day IL, but they're all arm related. Garrett Cole, Jacob DeGrom, Shohei Ohtani, Sandy Alcantara, Spencer Strider, Shane McClanahan, Max Scherzer, Shane Bieber, Justin Steele, Kodai Senga, Kyle Bradish, Brandon Woodruff, Sonny Gray, Clayton Kershaw, Yuri Perez, Justin Verlander, Eduardo Rodriguez, Robbie Ray, Drew Rasmussen, Jeffrey Springs, Gavin Williams, Lucas Giolito, Shane Boff, Lance McCullers Jr., Brian Wu, Nick Lodolo, Dustin May. That's some. I couldn't fit that many names in a screenshot.
And every single one of those pitchers could be
All
either
Cy
a
Young caliber
Cy Young caliber day
or
1
all star.
opening day starters easily.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, I'm expecting. Look, we got news about Spencer Strider as Braves fans. Um, Friday night after his pretty bad start. Now, he picked it up. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and
I mean, what
then
are
kind
we?
of some others.
7 games in, we had Yuri Perez, Shane Bieber, and Spencer Strider so far this year. That's the only the
And yeah, um, came out after the game. Spencer Strider said his elbow was bothering him, or he had some discomfort. That's never a good sign. He got tested, got an MRI on Saturday. Um, has a tear or a sprain in his UCL, which is never good. He
never.
had a velocity drop on Friday night. When he usually pitches 96 to 99, sometimes hitting 100. He was down to like 92, 94 on Friday. A drop in velocity is usually the telltale sign of this guy needs Tommy John. I am totally expecting him that he will need to have Tommy John for a second time. He had it in college at Clemson. Um, and you hate to see that, especially as Braves fans like you and I, hoping for the best. But I'd be pretty surprised at this point if TJ is not needed.
He needs, yeah, he's gonna have TJ, and as a Braves fan, and I'm sure everybody on every team gets this name thrown. Well, we need to sign Trevor Bauer. We don't need to sign Trevor. That's not
Trevor
gonna.
Bauer, look, it would really ruin as great as he would be. I do think
He'd
he would be
ruin the
really good.
culture, in my
He would
opinion.
ruin the culture. He would ruin the image of the Braves, which is a good one right now. Um,
I don't think no team wants him. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna upset a lot of people. I know it's gonna upset one person. I definitely think Trevor Bauer is a cancer.
I mean, whether he's he was guilty or not of what, and I do believe that
He
a
was.
lot of that story was fabricated, and that he is. Yeah, and then we don't know all the
Yeah,
details,
yeah.
but
We
I
don't know
think
all the
he's
details, yeah, but I
and we're not
definitely
going to get
think
into that, but I have heard from many people that he is a cancer in the clubhouse. I mean, he went over to Japan last year, and even a lot of the Japanese players said that they didn't like him over there.
it's one of them like it's gonna be the name kind of like in the NFL. Well, since this dude's injured, are they gonna sign Colin Kaepernick? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just gonna be that name. I feel like for now on. I personally,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I definitely think he's blackballed from the MLB because he came out with the sticky stuff, exposed a bunch of people. But I think the Braves, this is for the next few minutes, it's gonna be for the Braves fans. A little shocked we pull up Allen wins. I definitely thought we was gonna pull up Bryce Elder. I just look at it as I'm a little scared. Yeah, we're 5-2 right now. I believe we're 5-2 or six
Six
and
and
two,
two
six
now
and two,
after the
six and
sweep.
two. My bad. It's 6-2. I look at it as we can't be healthy all season. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, at some point another pitcher is going to go down, and we have options. Look, at Hurston Waldrop's going to be a great pitcher. AJ Smith-Shawver, I think, will be a great pitcher, but they need more development. They need more time. Ian Anderson is going to come back from Tommy John surgery here in a few months, but who knows if he's going to,
Yeah.
be back to what he was, in his prime. Who, we really don't know. Um, but yeah, as far as the whole TJ thing,
I
and the
definitely think you need to change the pitch clock or something. Like, I like the
yeah,
idea of not the pitchers taking their time. I really do. And my God, it did cut the time down in games. It
yeah,
did.
significantly. I mean,
And
at least 20 minutes for most games.
it did its job, but nobody, I don't think, ever would have thought the Tommy John stuff would have.
Either that, or if you're going to keep the pitch clock, there needs to be a culture change of maybe not, the max amount of pitches, the max, like before we finally decide to take a pitcher out, usually is 90 to 100. Maybe that needs to be brought down to 70 to 80,
Maybe,
60 to 70, something like that.
maybe, and I just want to sound crazy. Maybe it needs to be mandatory. Like,
It might need to be. I
maybe it
mean,
needs to be like, hey, if you hit 100, you're done.
yeah,
Or you hit like 95, you're done. I
yeah.
don't care if you're throwing a no game or not. Like, you just need to kind of,
I think is if you're going to keep the pitch clock, that's probably the only solution that you can have.
I
And I
mean,
mean, even, we're just the human body, and a lot of people have said this before. We're just not meant to throw that hard so many times, in a game. I mean, it's
it's so
fine
so
for
consistent.
yes,
That's
it's fine for guys like Aroldis Chapman who throws 105, you know, but he's throwing 20, 30, maybe 40 pitches a, a week, right? Because he might come out two or three times for a save opportunity a week, if that. So guys like Spencer Strider are throwing twice a week, every 5 days, and he's usually always throwing up to 100. I mean, so you're talking 200 pitches a week and his fastball mix up. I think he throws 60 to 70% fastball, maybe less now with the
yep.
curveball implemented. I mean, that's a lot of hard
Or
throwing. It's
just
just so much stress on your arm and especially your elbow. And he's implemented that curveball, which is a totally different, arm angle. And so that might have played a factor too. Who really knows? Um, but you know, something does need to be done because I mean, just going through that list, those are some of the best pitchers in the game.
MLB needs to just step it up. I mean, you saw everybody's seen the TikTok about the Angels announcers just going in. You had the problem with the Tommy John. You have these whatever jerseys you call these things. They look ridiculous. I mean, I know we've talked about it, but my God, they look like bullshit. They look like so cheap, so cheap. I don't know. I mean, I went this past week to Dick's again just to look at a jersey. I mean, I wasn't gonna buy it. I was just in there. Like, let me go look see it, and it just feels cheap in your hand. I mean, watching them play in Chicago, no jersey is supposed to flap in the wind like that. It was just like a flag. They got to do something. My God,
Yeah, to your point, yeah, I forgot the name of the Angels announcers, but yeah, like they were going off. I mean, you've got not only all the pitchers going down, but you've got the issue with the jerseys, the uniforms. You've got your biggest star in a betting
that
scandal
necessarily
right
no.
now.
Yep,
You've got the situation in Oakland. Who even knows if they're going to be a franchise in 5 years? I mean, the public relations for the MLB is in shitter right now. They're
they're
not doing a good
failing.
job.
They're failing in the sense of you have Oakland failing. It truly is major league in front of our eyes. You possibly have the best player since Willie Mays or Hank Aaron in front of you with Shohei Ohtani, and you're not exploring that. I mean, because you're trying to cover up his betting scandal. I'm
I
just telling
think
you, they're missing it right now. This is a
Yeah, I think
big
look,
whiff.
I thought last season was great to grow the game with the rule changes, seeing more steals, the pitch clock games are shorter, but now it's kind of coming full circle a little bit. And then you throw in all this extra stuff with, Otani and the A's and the jerseys. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing as a baseball fan, because you look when you turn on ESPN or Fox FS1 in the mornings, or you turn on the radio, mainstream sports networks, they don't talk about baseball,
No.
and that pisses me off. I wanna know what Stephen A. Smith thinks about, the Yankees, whatever. They just don't talk about it.
Don't get me
And that
wrong.
that doesn't help either, right, to grow the game. Like, this is America's pastime. I know that football is the
Don't,
most popular sport in America now,
yeah.
but baseball is the American sport.
Don't get me wrong. As much as I love football, NFL, college basketball, college football, I want to see MLB. I still want to see MLB. I want a good amount of each. Dispense it out evenly.
Yeah, you turn on Colin Cowherd in the middle of August when you got no football going on, no basketball, and he's talking about NFL. Like, can we talk about a little baseball here? Like, I want to see some baseball coverage outside of MLB Network
Yeah.
and YouTube videos. So that doesn't help either. But now they are talking about the MLB, but it's all bad stuff.
That's the only time they ever talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what it is. But John Rivers, do you have a question of the day?
think of one. Do you have one? I think you have one.
I do not have a question of the day. I can come up with one on the spot. My first question is:
Oh, we got,
you're wearing a red shirt right now,
yes.
a red heads up play shirt. You are colorblind. I don't know if
Yeah.
our viewers know that, but you are
Yes,
colorblind.
I am. I
Can
am.
you see that? What is it like being colorblind? What kind of colors can you see? See
I
red,
cannot.
green,
I am
blue.
your very typical red green.
So you can see red, green, and
No,
that's
I
the
I
only.
can't I can't see red green.
Okay,
I'm your
so like
typical.
when you
Yeah.
look at something that is red, like if you look at your shirt right now, what do you see? Is it like gray, like what we would
I
say is
can
gray?
see it's like red, but when like I can see shades. Like if it's like really close, you know what I mean?
Okay, I
Like what?
gotcha.
But
I've always wondered, like colorblind people, like who are true colorblind, like they don't even understand what like the concept of color. Like they understand the concept of color, but like they can't because I've never seen it. You can't picture it,
now there
which
is
is
some
I
stuff that you shouldn't like a stop sign. I don't
uh-huh.
I used to have a hard time, but I mean I know it's red because you're taught red stop sign, red fire truck.
Of course,
You,
of
you see what I'm
course.
saying? Like you're taught this stuff is like grass is green
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit is green. Mine have blood
Sometimes
in
if
it.
you eat enough spinach,
Mine has blood in it. But
sometimes corn.
but let me ask you a question, okay? Give me your early prediction for next year at college basketball. Who is going to win the SEC championship? Not the tournament, not the tournament, but the outright like Tennessee was this year.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I see no reason where
Not to,
Alabama cannot win the SEC championship next year. I don't think that even with having a better team next year, and I do think that we will have a better team talent wise. I don't think that we'll make as deep of a run in the tournament just because of how hard it is. But I do think that we can most certainly will be the favorites to win the SEC. I do think that Florida will continue to compete. I think Kentucky will continue to compete. They're probably going to fall flat on their faces yet again. I don't think Auburn's going to have quite as good of a year. I don't think Tennessee is going to have quite as good of a year. Um, what about you? And what are some maybe
uh,
sleeper teams in the SEC next season?
Alabama sleeper team. Alabama's going to be good. I think Tennessee will be okay. My sleeper team is going to be Ole Miss under a
Okay.
second year of Chris Beard. Mississippi State sleeper team. I definitely look out for. I think it's going to sound crazy. Texas, the new SEC team in there.
Let me
That
tell you,
will
Oklahoma always is usually pretty good in basketball too. They can pull some upsets now.
and
Kind of forgot about them coming in.
I think one team that will fall will be either Auburn or, and I hate to say this, I think Florida will fall. I was a fan of Florida
Okay.
this year. I think Florida or Alabama.
They've lost a couple guys in the portal, so it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, guys, I think that does it. Episode 31, Heads Up Play. Be sure to like this video and subscribe
Yes, brother.
and follow us on Twitter/X and TikTok and Instagram. It's all right there. Be sure to do so, brother.
Bro, sorry for
You do
cussing.
that one more time.
Sorry for cussing.
right, buddy. We out.
We out.
Heads
Have a
up
good one.
play.
Play.
Heads
Heads
up
up
play.
play.
Heads
Heads
up
up
play.